What are green screens? What are blue screens? And what are yellow screens? And what is the best screen? Let's find out. Let's start off with the basics. Green screen refers to a tool and method of background removal, formerly known as keying. This method uses a green wall, screen, or curtain to create a contrasting background that is easier to differentiate from the subject. Here are some examples. The color usually is referred as chroma green, a high luminance and vibrant green. We have one in our class, but this method is far from perfect. The main problem that occurs is wanting to green screen something that is green itself. In that situation, either you change the color of the subject or you change the color of the screen. Here are some attempts of green screens green clothes. You can see that the clothes' true color cannot be kept. Therefore, the necessity for blue screens. It works on the same fundamentals as green screens, but offers a few different benefits. The color is chroma blue, a high luminance color. The benefit of blue is being able to key green subjects, but also blue is a more dim color than green and has less light spill. Green is such a bright color that surrounding lights bounce off it and emit a green glow on the subjects. This is greatly reduced by using blue. Another tool that can stop the green glow is using purple tint on your subjects. By using subtle purple lights, you can counteract the light spill and make more professional final results. Here are some examples of famous movies using blue screens. Now, green screens and blue screens are cool, but they take a lot of effort in post-production. There are lots of problems that need to be fixed after shooting. Making convincing blurs, as green screens often mess up the depth of field, and making fake motion blur as green screens cannot capture fast movement. It's hard to make things look perfect, and often takes months or a team of VFX artists to create convincing keying. But there is one screen that solves all these problems, and creates a perfect key right away with no necessary skill with VFX. This is the magic behind yellow screens. Invented by Disney in the 1960s, it was used in one movie, Mary Poppins in 1964. You're probably wondering, why was it only used once? Well, let me explain the tech behind yellow screens and why only now they're making a resurgence. Yellow screens work on the same fundamentals as the others, emitting a very unique color that can be separated from the background. The thing that yellow screens do differently is they use a very specific spectrum of yellow, made with low pressure sodium vapor lights. This yellow only emits one wavelength of light at 589 nanometers. This is important because unlike green screens that can vary often, including lots of greens and different colors, this can consistently only emit one. With the help of a simple light filter, you can completely block this light and make a perfectly blank background without messing up the other colors, something that is impossible with green screens. But this is not enough. Often, a completely blank background is just as good as a green screen because you still only get a semi-perfect key. All of this is hindered by the transparency and blur. What Disney did is they used a beam splitter prism to keep the yellow background separate from the rest. This can be used to create perfect background keying. They use the prism to film the subjects and background separately on two film strips, and later replace the background film color perfectly with anything they wanted. This process is seen in Mary Poppins. Just look how perfectly transparent the clothes are, and how perfectly they captured the realistic blurs. Now, the reason why it was only used once is that Disney lost the beam splitter prism, and it failed to replicate it. Because the splitter needed to separate a very specific wavelength, it was near impossible to fabricate and cost tens of thousands of dollars. But now with modern technology, it is easier than ever. The prism consists of two layers of glass, and between them, various thin layers of different refractive indexes. So in 2024, after 60 years of the yellow screens being lost to time, researcher Paul Dubovec managed to replicate the prism. He then proceeded to partner up with the VFX studio Corridor to shoot the first test of his prototype. Here is them setting up the yellow screen.
Well, I guess this is like our hello world of sodium vapor matting. We've got There
our
it is.
color image and our sodium vapor image there.
There it is. Look at that.
That's the idea.
It's working.
The first thing you need are some sodium vapor lights. So thankfully they still make the bulbs. Eventually, after we've had these on for 10 minutes, they'll start glowing that color.
I think it's working.
And then we've got a couple of LED lights here that are going to illuminate the after. Sodium vapor mats. Woohoo! Hey.
Pretty sweet.
Paul accomplished this feat using all off-the-shelf components instead of a custom beam splitter like Disney. He used 2 filters with regular splitters and filtered the wavelength afterwards, thus costing less and being easier to replicate. He also didn't use 2 strips of film, but instead used 2 digital cameras to record the subject and background. To test the yellow screen, they decided to film a multicolored clown with a yellow screen and with a green screen. The clown had lots of transparent clothes in various colors, thus being an ultimate keying challenge. They did their best with both methods, and these are the results they got. Look at the color of the green dress in the green screen, and how unrealistic it is, and how it differs from the original color. Now look at the yellow screen. The transparent water looks realistic with the background, and look at the impeccable motion blur. The yellow screen took 30 minutes to set up in Adobe After Effects, but the green screen took many hours for a worse result. Now, a quick conclusion and final thoughts from Paul
In
Devec.
today's age, when you could just go and shoot on a volume with an LED screen, is sodium vapor worth pursuing?
In practice, a lot of those in-camera backgrounds will get replaced.
So it seems like we're still in a world where we need to be able to cut out backgrounds and put people on new things.
Yeah, flexibility in post-production is incredibly valuable. One thing that you're noticing is like compositing tools are getting better because they're starting to have a bit of machine learning inside of them. Machine learning needs training data. The question is, where do you get all that training data? There is no perfect, easy compositing technique, and I thought this would be a good way to do it.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned a bit more about the world of green screens, blue screens, and yellow screens.